Okay, hi all. Welcome to this new Rhino webinar. This is Pedro, and today you will learn how to harness the full potential of Rhino when paired with V4. You will be able to discover how to bridge the gap between precise 3D modeling and real-time visual programming through the exclusive features of the VL.Rhino 3DM library. Our speaker, Moritz Wolf-Kramer, works as a creative technologist and artist in Hamburg, in Germany. While studying architecture, he specialized in the computational design combined with digital fabrication methods. He will show us some essential techniques, including 3DM file support, using user strings for informed geometry, and ensuring a smooth integration of material properties between Rhino and V4. So as you probably know, there will be a Q&A session after the presentation to ask Moritz about what he was talking. So, well, Moritz, feel free to start whenever you want.
Okay, thanks for the introduction, Pedro. And now I will start to share my screen. So you obviously see Rhino now, but we start somewhere else. So, okay, yeah, as Pedro already mentioned, we are talking about the connection between Rhino and V4 or VVVV today. And he also already said that, yeah, I'm an artist, computation designer, creative technologist, but with a background in architecture. So I studied architecture, but decided not to do classic building stuff, but to enhance my knowledge about programming and so on. I want to show later a few projects, but now for first, what is VVVV or VL? It's also called. There are a few names outside V4. Pedro already said as well, because constantly saying VVVV is a bit annoying. So V4 is a visual live programming environment for the .NET ecosystem. So it's used to build live shows, permanent, interactive, immersive experiences, and it's run on the .NET virtual machine. So it's like programming in V4 or patching, what it's called, is as fast as C# can be. So the nice thing about V4 is actually that it supports many hardware devices and protocols. So you can interact with every technology out there. I would say there are pre-made libraries for it to control hardware like whatever, LED, DMX, and special mouses, special motors, Arduino for sure, and so on. And the nice thing about it is that you at the end can also export it as a standalone executable. And yeah, there's also a big community around it, so you will always find good support with V4. On the other hand, we have like Rhino. I don't have to explain Rhino, but I just want to mention these differences. Rhino is meant for like precise modeling. So everything we want to build in Rhino is at least targeted at the physical world. We want to build stuff, and therefore we need absolute precision. And together with this free-form NURBS modeling or sub-D and so on, we have lots of features to really freely design things and installations, for example, like you see on the right. And the nice thing also about Rhino is like we have a really good way to structure our files to give our models additional information. And for sure, there's also a node-based visual programming, I would say, a plugin called Grasshopper that you most probably know, I would guess. And there we have like also this approach of a visual programming language. The nice thing also about Grasshopper or Rhino itself as well is that you can extend it through C# programming. So we have like, we are with VVVV also, we have like this common language of C# used of both. I just want to start with to show some projects that you get a glimpse of what I'm doing and why I actually made this connection. So this is a sculpture I built. It's like based on a lot of special selected stars that are orthogonal to these facets of this sphere-like object. And actually, they are only orthogonal at one moment in time at this precise position. This is also done in Grasshopper, so the complex form of it, also calculating the star positions and so on. But on the other hand, I'm working, like I said, as a computational designer, and actually behind this sculpture is also a long-term relationship with a manufacturer. And I built like this tool or a lot of Grasshopper components with C# to like taking these kinds of shapes or completely other shapes and to build already a complex 3D puzzle out of it. So every object gets information, and every line gets plans are just produced automatically to put on the mill. And every head of the mill is selected already to get the angle you want to desire to get these sharp corners of those objects. So this is a bit of a combination of my regular work and my work as an artist. So that's purely Grasshopper and C#. But in this case, this is an installation I did last year with a friend of mine, where you can actually see, you saw the model maybe on the other slide. This whole installation is made with Rhino and Grasshopper. This is kind of obvious if you work with Grasshopper, that this kind of shape can be really easily generated there. And also you have like these custom thermal printers. The housings were printed and designed in Rhino and so on. And this whole sculpture was meant like it was from Mozilla, the ones with the Firefox browser, and it was about the 10 principles of the open internet. And actually, these thermal printers and everything else that is the digital behind this is controlled by VVVV, talking to an AI and generating like love letters to the user of the internet, or generating poems, or you name it, and constantly printing this. So the sculpture was completely built in Rhino and Grasshopper, with Rhino and Grasshopper. And afterwards, all the controls of the sculpture were done in V4. Also, there was sound and so on. Another example would be like this kind of lamp I developed. It's consisting of 120 RGB lights. And so you have 60 on both sides in this tube. And obviously this was again just completely modeled in Rhino, and these parts are printed, some are laser cut and so on. And here you see the first glimpse of V4 to obviously control these lights, to generate the information, to make complex informations and so on. You can see them a bit moving. Hopefully you can see this. But yeah, and also with this, I did a big light installation in an office in Frankfurt that was designed by Vitra. And to control the lights in this office, I made a server with V4 that's reacting to the music in the office, but also is reacting to the daytime, and is processing a lot of information, sometimes also with sensors and so on. And I was able to control the lights completely with V4. So this is also another project where this was like the combination of both worlds. It was like 9 beamers projecting quite weirdly on a big wall. and you see all the beamers there, and it was everything was controlled with a simple wheel you see here. And also this was an installation that was planned like in Rhino, but controlled at the end, the interactive part with V4. So why is it a perfect match? So we have like on the one hand, we have like this precise modeling, and on the other hand, we have like this real-time generative software. So on the one hand, you have like this digital tool to bring something to the physical world with Rhino, and on the other hand, you have like this digital tool to enhance the physical world with digital informations and projects. But that's not everything about it. Also in V4 itself, you can really use like this library I developed, and I will talk and show about to really inform your model and have also a benefit in working with V4. And this is quite a nice project where I modeled this whole all-electric society park together with Studio Brill. And they supported me also in developing this library further. So you can just see, okay, you see, this is completely a 3D model in Rhino, but used in V4, and also these lines and so on, these glowing lines are just curves in Rhino, and every object here, every container has more information behind it, and in V4 you exactly know what kind of geometry or what kind of object you are dealing with. So it's more or less a simple BIM-like workflow, and we used also this big model to design some details to actually in the park also build special exhibits using the same model, but with all the information that's behind this one file of Rhino. We could just specially select different parts of the park and also blend together all these informations. So I want to do it a bit faster. So again, another nice project. Maybe I think you all know about this. I'm just showing this because I like it, and this is actually the town I'm living in. It's not that far away from where I'm sitting right now, and you have also this real nice acoustic wall, and we all know this is done by with Rhino, and the acoustics calculation and so on, and the design of all this. I'm not sure about the facade and the building itself. I think there might be also quite a lot of Rhino used for this. And we have on the one hand this object built with Rhino, and then on the next slide you can see like the opening of it, and you see like these huge projections of this facade, and the lights also controlled everything. This is made by Schnelle Bunte Bilder. And these visuals also are reacting live to the music that is played inside of the Philharmonie. So this is also done with VVVV. Here you see some behind the scenes where they tested out, like I think it was 28 beamers that were used to do this project. And here you can see the test setup. Quite nice situation with all this hardware. And yeah, there are a lot of other nice projects where you always see like, okay, this is enhanced architecture, I would say, or the digitalization of architecture. And you see also these motor controlled screens that are completely controlled by V4, and the visuals as well. So you don't have only this visual tool, but you also can control the physical world, just to show some nice projects where you see at least most of this combined. So let's get started. And I will do it a bit more hands-on, and I want to show you just how to work with it. So this is your used surrounding, I would guess. This is Rhino, and we have like this simple. I have like this simple representation of some kind of city. Sorry. want to open the wrong one. So it's opening. Okay. Should be everything fine. Okay, I have here my layers. I have here some materials inside my file. And here everything is actually, what you see here is actually generated in Grasshopper using Rhino 8. It's quite nice to have like these new nodes to actually use the assign layers. And also here you see I'm assigning key and value pairs. And you see I'm using building and level in this case, and you will see later why. And also I have like precise layer names for other objects. So this is the one side. And if you look at, I think this must be it. Those objects, you see they have like this level key, and this is the value 4, this is 3, and so on. And this is building 0. And here you see I have building 1. Before I switch to V4, I want to, sorry for the fast movement. I want to assign this object a special material. So I'm using some kind of concrete material, just a simple, just have a look here and do a simple bounding box mapping to it, so that you see this, we have this concrete block here. In addition to what I already showed is that I already have some views saved here. I have like building 1, and also building 0 and top perspective. And what we can do with this. So where is my, not able to switch here. Okay. So where is my taskbar? Oh, there it is. So, okay. I want to just start with an empty canvas. So this is V4. Actually, this is VL Gamma. So maybe if you know V4 from another year, there has changed a lot. So this is a complete new version of VVV Beta that was called how it was called before, but this is now a VL, and this is our canvas. So this is more or less like this Grasshopper canvas, and on the right hand, really helpful, we have the help browser, and you already can see here are a lot of tutorial videos, example patches, and if you want to learn VVV, here's a huge collection of how-tos and explanations how you can achieve stuff. So, but now let's focus on what is possible with V4. So we have our canvas here, and I also have like dependencies. And like I said, it's based on .NET. So we have a lot of the same logic, and now we can also in our files like add dependencies, like these specialized VL nuggets that is like I will show it later, but these are already wrapped for VL. These are made for VL directly, and then we obviously have like the classic .NET nuggets. You see like these classic Windows things and so on, and system, whatever. You can always also add existing things or framework assemblies, so you can throw any DLL into VL and work with it. It has to match somehow the .NET framework for sure, but there are always ways to extend V4 with external libraries. You can also extend V4, like I said, with a C# file. So you can write in your own notes that you can use in V4. So I want to show you first how to install this nugget. And here you can see, okay, we have this nugget.org where you always find these nuggets. And if I type in VL dot and search for it, I get a long list of possible editions. You saw maybe a Kinect or so, and MediaPipe, whatever you want. You can find MQTT, for example, Ableton Link, or what you name it. And here, for sure, the best one via Rhino. And I just show you how to install this. So we have like these managed nuggets I already clicked before. I will just turn on this key and mouse display. Should be working. Yeah, you might see on the left corner what I'm doing. So I just start the command line. Just type in nugget install vl.rhino.3dm. And there it is. So now we have it installed. So how can I use it? So if I go inside with a double click in the list of possible nodes, I can see here all these nice little presents that I have to unpack to use them. And if I click, for example, on VL Rhino here, you see it's adding the dependency. And now if I type in Rhino, you see that I instantly get some nodes, especially for Rhino. So what I'm using here with VL Rhino.3dm is like the nugget provided by McNeil and Rhino. It's the Rhino 3DM nuggets. So it's not the Rhino common one where you have like all the functionalities you get with Grasshopper and so on, but you have like this free version or open source version of open NURBS wrapped with additional Rhino things to be able to use also this plugin and V4 without a license for Rhino, so that you can just open those files and so on. So this is how the connection works, or what it is based on. So I want to show you a full sketch because I'm not sure if we have enough time for everything. So it's starting up. I will close the help. I'm here to help now. So, okay, while it's loading, no, it's not loading. It's already loaded, but you see it's white, and I will explain why it seems to be white. So, what does this VL Rhino 3DM library do? So the most important thing is the Rhino reader. So here I'm just reading this file, and you see, okay, application path. So the file is next to my patch I have here. So these files are called patches. I will just close this one because we don't need it. So also just mentioned with a right click, I can move here and I can zoom with a scroll wheel. But watch on the left side, then you always see what I'm doing with my mouse. So, okay, we have the Rhino reader. Obviously, we need a path to the file. Then we have the option to convert to meters, because V4 is mostly working in a space like from -2 to 2, or in this kind of area. And if I have like a file designed with millimeters, it's a bit annoying because it gets quite huge in the renderer, and it's not so easy to navigate around. So this you can use just to convert to meters. The file I've made is already in meters. I don't need it. But still, this is quite helpful in most cases. Then you see like these two buttons. Reload is I'm just reloading the file. Sometimes I need this. And the really nice feature is the auto reload. So every time you save a file save your file in Rhino that's opened here, it instantly checks it and reloads it if you want it. Not always the case, but most most of the time. So you can really easily just work in Rhino and update this. I will show it later. So then to get back to the structure we have in Rhino, I can use these filter nodes I made. So all these things here are just, if I do a middle click and so on, you see, okay, here I'm already getting to some functions from Rhino 3DM, but also here I have a huge class to just build these objects from Rhino, especially for V4. So that's all this you don't have to do anymore. And that's a nice thing about it. And here you see these nodes like filter layer. So I can just type in, for example, the layer name or the index. And I also can decide if I want to include all the sublayers. And what I get is, on the one hand, you see Rhino geometry, 75 items. And on the right hand, I only get one. This is the object that's present on the layer mesh. Then here again, filter layer, I have here some guides, I called it. And then the nice thing is, so these are just used to filter these objects, quite simple, but you get something that's quite powerful. And this is the user strings used in Rhino. I already mentioned, like building, for example, and so on. And I can just filter by key and value, and so on, and work with this. And at the end, you always have, like in V4, you're using Stride as a renderer. Stride is also an open source project and renderer. And this is in the background for V4 to render everything we see. And for the logic of Stride, we have like a scene window, a root scene, and here you already see I have some light. And here I have a group, and in this group I put entities. And in this case, this is the special node for this Rhino objects, that I can really directly use it, but I could also split them and do stuff with them. And here I have this node Rhino entity, and you see already I have a transformation. I can just also manipulate them, their position, scale, and whatever. And here I have my geometry. Here I get the materials I will show, and a default material if I want something else. Use the visible states, for example, and lights enabled or not, and so on. And if we look again at the Rhino reader, we see, okay, here are my materials, and I can just, it's not a nice preview. I would have to split them. But here you can see I have already a string, the name of the material I used in Rhino. And you see it's a Stride rendering material now. So it's automatically converting all the materials as far as possible, because there are differences in the workflow, to really V4, or in this case, Stride materials. So you don't have to worry about that. Also, texture mapping and textures are in most cases supported. Not everything is perfect. That's how it is. But it's really useful. You can just design these, and you could, because it's a dictionary, it's like a key value pair, string and material, you can also easily replace those. So, but you want to see something here, so we have to look at the other outputs. For sure, I can just see my layer names to also that this makes more sense, and that I know what kind of layers I have. And then we get the scaling out of it. It's now 1. It will stay 1 because it's the file that's already in meters, but I get the information which factor was used for scaling if my file is not in meters. So the next is an aligned box, because you always need an aligned box. That's the bounding box of the scene, and this can be quite helpful to know in what kind of dimensions you're working. And the really nice thing at the end is the Rhino views. So we are still seeing still seeing nothing here. Okay, not shaking off any windows. So I will just connect these Rhino views here my spread of Rhino views to this logic here I already built up, and you already see camera, Rhino view, and so on. I just connect them, and now everything has changed, and now we see what's happening here. So now we see our Rhino scene. You already also see that, hopefully you see it's because it's quite small. We see this concrete block on the side. So this material got transferred, and the mapping as well. And the nice thing about what I just mentioned here with the filter key and filter key value, that you have to imagine if you build your things in Rhino, your geometry, you can almost, with these key value pairs, you can build some kind of a class or a simple record out of an object, and really use this for information. So this is quite an easy setup. So we have the reader, we have some filters and so on. We have our entities. Here's the renderer. And here we have like some logic for the camera, and you will see why. And now I have like this model, and I want to, this is my city model, and I want to see a special building. So I just click on activate. So now I have only this, and I just made some information in the Rhino model. So it actually just can really use this to build this logic. You already see also it's flipping through the levels and so on. And if I want to switch building, it's instantly switching. And you see these views here. So those views are all made also in Rhino. So I can really design like how this looks and feels like in Rhino, and then use it to do my own application with this. And as like this is more or less an object-oriented approach, it doesn't matter how your city or whatever you design here looks like. You can already always use the same logic for different files and so on, and easily set them up in Rhino, and then just use them for interaction purposes, maybe running this on a touch screen and so on, and get some input of a touch screen. Now I have like these debugging buttons, I would say. This is not the interaction we will stop with. So this is just for this showcase. And I just here with some filters and so on, it's a bit confusing. These are filters for like blending between or going to another value, and just doing a nice transition. So if we actually look at something like this, and I now switch building, you see that they are just changing in a smooth and nice way. So, okay, so this is quite basic. So I have my materials from Rhino and so on, but obviously I can do really nice stuff with materials in V4, because we have like different libraries used by V4, but at the end we are able to really program on the GPU and write our own shaders and so on. And many of those things you can already do with also the same visual programming approach. So I just have like this simple material that is generated with a shader, and just put it inside of this one. And you see, okay, now here are some texture or some stripes. I hope you see it, because yeah, it's not that sharp. So I use it on the complete building, and then just easily made this procedural texture. So, but this is the one thing. I have like these kind of special materials I can use, but I also can enhance my my object with animations for sure, because this is constantly running. This is completely real time. And I already filtered here some guides. I made these guides in Rhino. Those are just simple curves. You see here, it's a polycurve coming out of Rhino. So here you see a node to split like this Rhino object. So I can get the real Rhino object and do some stuff with it. Something like evaluate curve, for example. And here I'm evaluating the curve at a parameter. In this case, the curve domain just is constrained to 0 to 1, so that it can be easier. And here you see also I have a filter I just put in between with the name car. And now let's put this group, I just grouped those things together inside of my render scene. And now it's the materials. So, okay, here you see like these small circles that are just hanging around there. And now I can show you that it's really real time. I just have an LFO that's just producing a face with a time I set, and I now started. And you see these kinds of objects are now moving around. And I just filtered the layer car, and on my car layer, I have also some lights. So I can add some lights. Here you see, here's something changing. If you exchange some materials or something, this can happen, that it has to load the texture and so on. And now we have like these small tiny cars running around just on a path in Rhino. You can just here see, well, like here's a curve, and there's also another curve. And this car model is just hidden inside here at the 0 point of Rhino. So it's getting easier to translate it and so on. And here you see also the lights from Rhino. Here's the red light, here's the white light, and so on. So that you can just see it. I can just turn it on and off and so on, and also do my interaction with it. So speaking of lights, not every light is also possible to convert to V4. I'm working on this a bit, but also you have like, I have a directional light in the scene. Here you see this happens sometimes, but if you have done it once, this will not happen again. And here you can see I can just turn the directional light I have in my scene on and off just with this selection if I want to enable my lights. So let's zoom in again and wait for the car to pass by. Stop. So, okay, now we have our car. This material is also coming just from Rhino, this shiny metallic, but I want to show you some other stuff. As I said, there are a lot of libraries also to extend VVV, and one of them, one huge and a massive library is called Fuse. And with Fuse is really, really heavy performing with the GPU you have, and is able to do a lot of interesting stuff with fluids, with particles, and so on. And yeah, there are a lot of possibilities with it. And one is like making strange materials, for example. And here you can see, and now this car has like this fuse generated material where you see, okay, I have some noise, some additional noise for something else, and I use it like for metalness and for roughness, and also for the color. And I just combine them to one material, and then I get this strangely behaving texture out of it. So we can keep it. Okay. So speaking of materials, I already said this, as this is the materials are just a dictionary. We can easily just replace materials. And here, for example, I'm setting the buildings material I have in my Rhino file just to another color, and just replace this. And then you see, okay, I have like these transparent pinkish color on all my buildings. In this state, those are just also buildings. They are not specially selected, only in this situation, for example. So I can easily replace those materials with some other interesting stuff I did, like all these things. So my PC is getting a bit slow, I guess now. Let's put something at least away, because it's quite a lot I'm doing now here. Okay. So this is just the simple real-time rendering we instantly get out of the box from Stride, but we can also apply some post effects to our scene, and then just have like this a bit nicer effects. I'm not sure if you can see this by through the stream, but we have like this depth of field. We have some blooms, some vignetting, and so on. So we can all these basic render settings we can use also in V4 for our real-time scene. But you always have to keep in mind that these post effects are quite heavy for your GPU. So you have to find the sweet spot where you can work with this. So now we have like this nice scene, but it's only controllable by these strange buttons. And this is not really something usable for an installation. So we need another way to do this. And another way to do this, to use these controls, is im GUI. ImGUI, I would always say in German, but it's not right. So here we can just build our custom interface. You just see a button, slider, and color edit, and I just add something here because I somehow have to combine both renderings of the interface and my original scene. Just have to pass this. And now I'm just removing my scene window because I don't need it anymore. Hopefully it's not crashing everything. What's happening? Okay. And I just put it here in a scene texture. Okay. The worst that could happen, maybe just get rid of some things. Do I have anything running? So, okay, as this is loading, you see I can still work here. We hopefully this is catching up. So what you see, I'm having like these inputs I can save here as pets. Those are more or less like variables that I can use anywhere else in the sketch. So I just start here, double clicking, say UI and active. Put it. Oh God. Seems quite heavy. I'm not sure it worked. Most of the times this is working. I'm not sure what I've done now that it's it feels like it's exploding. My okay, it's a bit freezing now. Okay, what did I do? That's a bad sign. Okay, so I have another way to show this. Actually, the nice thing. Oh, now it's catching up. Okay. Let's see. But I want to show something else as well. So I have maybe started in the background. I'm sorry, I'm just doing it here. Okay, now it's working again. How do I get my screen now? Yeah, we just put up this. So now it looks almost the same, but it's not. We have now like on our menu here in the top, and I just was going to replace our buttons, UI building. Didn't miss it. And what else? We can UI color. So I just replace this one. So if I'm now here in my scene, I can just use those buttons I just generated, like select the building, for example. I really can style them how I want. And I can also use like this color thing to do stuff. And there you see, we can make this whole thing interactive, quite easily. So it was not much work also in V4 to build up this logic. So this is one enhancement for V4 as well in this case, but also we can have like these interactive demos of our Rhino scenes and whatever we do with it. So I will just close this. I have to watch on the clock. So okay, we close this as well. And I just want to show at the end, we are not standing there with a patch. So you see, like this is my export. You see here my 3D model, and I just start this Excel. This will take a short time, so I will start something else that I wanted to show. I still have, I think Grasshopper is still open. So just do a new file here. Whatever, doesn't matter right now. We'll put this on that side. So did it open already? Yes, it did open. Okay, so now what you see, I just closed the patch. So here you see like this exported exe file, and I have the same functionality and possibilities. Oh, I missed the cars, I think, in the export, but still you get an idea what you can achieve with V4 besides all the other nice visual stuff I showed before, but in this combination, and what you can do with your Rhino file to enhance them and to give this exe file actually to other people that don't have Rhino or V4. So I want to close this. And where's my V4? Okay, so I want to end this like with a some nice special thing. This is quite a new development, and it's not published yet, but I'm working on it. It will most likely be like latest end of next week. I have to clean up everything and so on, but I want to show you this. So we have like here our patch again. This is just some chaotic thing from before, but now you see like this Rhino GH receiver and Rhino GH sender. So what can they do? You see here I'm just passing some vectors and so on. I have like vector spread. I have some keys. I have some floats, some values, or I have geometries. For example, a mesh or something like this. And now I'm just doing a new document in Grasshopper, and you see these two nice components I have here, and it's called v-link receive. And I place it, and instantly in that moment, we'll zoom here, and yeah, to have it like up there, you can see everything. Whoop. With all the video and so on, it's not getting better. But you see, I have already those points I shared here. But if you see, these are, no, not yet, but I want to have them changed. They are just some points floating around. They are generated here in V4 and passed to this component. To keep this updated right now, I'm just using a trigger, and I will set them to, let's say, 10 milliseconds. And now you see that it's constantly updating. I have my LFO here in V4 running. Let's make it even faster or whatever. And now let's keep it on 1. I have like these points bouncing around. They are just coming out of this component and in the preview. And let's say, okay, I want to do a Delaunay mesh out of it. So this is already nice, but I could use some Catmull Clark, for example. Just don't show this. And now that's not smooth enough. Let's call it 3 times. And now I have like this nice mesh in Rhino, and it's moving. That's already quite nice, but I also have a sender. For this, I the moment have to connect those two as well. And now I'm just passing over this mesh and zoom in. And here you see I'm just having this running in parallel. I can turn on like the FPS in V4. You see it's running on 60 FPS. And for sure, this is not stopping there. So you remember the nice noise material from Fused? If I just place it here. So it had a short drop, but now you see I can for sure use this still in V4. And the nice thing about it on both sides is in VL and also in Grasshopper, these components are working async or async. So they are running on an own thread, and they are just moving like the information via your memory, and you don't have to save something or so it's just via memory moving the information from one software to the other. Like I said, running in an own thread, so it's not blocking neither in V4 nor in Grasshopper. So I have to still clean it up so that you can also send a lot of other geometry types, curves, and so on. But this is the newest feature. So if you also want to have like this real-time connection, there is no issue with it. And you can just use those components. And the nice thing about this whole library also is like it's dealing with all the transformations, because, for example, here in Rhino, this is a bit hacked, so you don't notice this, but Rhino, we have like this Z up vector. So as we are in the physical world, Z is up and XY is our floor. And in V4, it's like a basic computer coordinate system, I would say, where you have like X and Y is your screen and Z is the depth. So this library also already converts like from the one coordinate system to the other, so that it really matches up in how you are working there. So yeah, okay, I think the time is up. Yeah, there's a lot more to show, but I will stop here. And
no problem.
Yeah,
No problem.
oh,
Let me turn on my camera again. And yeah, well, thank you, Moritz, for sharing such an amazing workflow. I mean, it's really inspiring. I'm sure that everyone here is excited to try not only the Rhino 3DM, the VL Rhino 3DM library, but these two new components for Grasshopper. So did you develop all these nodes to import Rhino 3DM, filter layers and that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Is there some place where we can access to some sort of documentation to know exactly how many nodes there are, or?
Yeah, sure. I just opened it here. I'm not sure. I'm sharing to my screen. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to show some resources to start with V4 also, and to get more into depth, because now I couldn't show everything and how everything works. But the way you can get it and where you also get the help is just visualprogramming.net. Quite fitting domain. And on this website, you find also some nice projects, more insights onto it. You find the blog showcase and the community. Like I already mentioned, you have like also quite a good community that's open to help, and you have a nice forum and the element chat, where you always get help to start with V4. And here's so much material, so many tutorials online where you can start learning VVVV. And if you want to enhance this also, there's quite nice the Node Institute and the nodeinstitute.org. is really doing these extensive courses. I also did this for Rhino 3DM before. And here you can learn everything you need to know about V4. There's also this summer season. No, summer season is starting. I think it should be called winter season, I would guess. But it's starting on October the 7th. It's a beginner class for VVV. But you see, okay, this is quite a lot that you will learn there. And it's you have to pay for it, but it's really worth it because you learn in depth how VVVV works and what you can do with it, and also with those two nice instructors, Christoph and Rosi, that will show you how this works. And yeah, we have this beginner class and so on. There are more courses available, but you find a lot of help online from the community, and yeah, from the community actually. So I can totally recommend this.
Okay. So this link, I mean, I've seen that it's real fast. So what are you transferring exactly? Are you transferring the transformation matrix, or
What do you mean? In which case?
in the Grasshopper link?
Yeah.
These two Grasshopper components that you have. So what are you transferring between V4 and Grasshopper?
So I'm using the memory stream to save what I'm transferring. So really the RAM, and I'm serializing my objects. So I'm serializing my meshes and geometry and information to a byte array, and I'm just passing this between both of them.
The whole geometry, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just everything I need to know about how to construct it, and then just convert it to a byte array and convert it back. So yeah, if anyone has like more input on serialization of the Rhino objects that I could use for this, I'm happy. I'm always happy for input also. If anyone wants to join also in the development and so on, I'm always happy for help or input or things you might need to do that it works for you. Always happy to help, and always happy for input.
Okay. Okay, let me read some questions from the audience. The very first one from Severi is V4 available for Mac?
I waited for this question. Yeah, not yet. Not yet. So I was just talking to one of the head developers, and he assured me they have this in mind, but it's not that they can really say an estimated date and time when this will be available. But using like this newest .NET version, yeah, it's open to be developed, and but not yet. Sadly, but yeah, I think it's a bit of in the mind of what you're doing with V4 and all these installations. It's would be also quite hard to have like this closed system of a Mac working with something that's hacking in everything in the system, and using the system extensively. But yeah, it will be. They have it in mind. They want to do it, but not yet a time frame for this.
Okay.
But you can export actually these. You can not only export the Excel file, but you can also export it for Linux. So it's running on Linux.
Okay. The exe file. I mean, well, the export of your
the export. Yeah.
of your program. So let me pick up another one. Can you add mouse integrations to manipulate Rhino objects from within V4?
Yeah, you could actually using this, for example. So as I mentioned, I'm using the Rhino 3DM library, so it's really a compressed version of Rhino Common. I can't do everything with it, but you could also easily extend it yourself and manipulate geometry and use what's available in Rhino 3DM. Either on the one hand, and just get all mouse interactions. You can get the touch screen interactions and so on, and work with it. And you could also either do this inside of V4 using these functions that are available, but yeah, surely you could just pass these values through this grasshopper component, do something like I did here in between, and send it back. So this would be also a possibility. I actually also tested some kind of Rhino Insight version of V4, but it's bit more complicated. I had it bouncing some balls just in Rhino from V4 with Rhino 7, but I didn't get it to work with Rhino 8 yet. But yeah, let's see.
Yeah, this is another approach.
Yeah.
To try to load Rhino and Grasshopper as a plugin within V4, loading the DLLs. And I don't know if can you create a plugin for V4, or is it just
Didn't think
like
about that way around. Yeah.
yeah?
I did. Yeah, I didn't. Why not? Should be possible to also call it from Rhino to open before and then have like this connection. I always just tried the other way around because yeah, you're quite fast with the visual programming to try out stuff. And like I said, I already had this connection with Rhino 7 that I could open Rhino 7, do stuff in Rhino controlled by VVV. Yeah, but I wanted to like first have like this solid integration of Rhino 3DM because everyone can use it without a license, and a lot of projects I was working in, I have like on the one hand I'm like designing the whole structure and so on, and doing that stuff and designing the displays, and there's one team working on that part. And on the other hand, you have like the team programming the visuals, and they can just use always constantly the same model and work in it. But I didn't want I didn't want it that everyone needs this license. So that's why I concentrated first on having like the possibility to just load a 3DM file in V4, just to work together and have like this matchup.
Yeah, Alessandro Conti wanted also to know if is there documentation about the Rhino 3DM nugget. I understand that for this plugin for V4, I understand
Yeah.
the VL.Rhino 3DM.
Yeah, it's not that much. I just on the GitHub as well. For the nugget, you will find like a bit of it. I'm working on the documentation, but if you just type in Rhino, okay, now this is here. I've linked here. You can see I have really linked Rhino 3dim again into it, and then you see like these green things that are just coming directly from the 3DM library and are not wrapped yet. But otherwise, you would just have like these few, and you can easily just have an overview what you can do with it. And but I'm working on a nicer documentation.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, there's a good community in the Element chat. I'm also always in the Element chat, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out.
Great. Looking for more questions. Yeah, the name of the library, Magnus, if I'm not wrong, is vial.rhino3dm, right?
Ah, yeah, there's somebody mentioning the GitHub. Yes, exactly. That's the right link.
Okay. Yeah, sure. And Nenad, this webinar is being recorded, and we will publish it in on our YouTube list in the next few days. So everyone could be able to take a look at it again in the future.
I just note something. I just forget that I think that update is already in there, but I saw this question. But for sure now you can also have a Rhino writer. So the meshes I generate, for example, in V4, I can also write my own Rhino file and then open that in Rhino again. So it's not that long in the library. So, but I want to mention there's also a possibility to write a file from V4 with meshes to a 3DM file and open that. So if you do some crazy meshing stuff in V4 with, for example, Strider and so on, you can also write it to a Rhino file.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great. Well, any other question? Or maybe we can wrap up the presentation with a special thanks to Moritz for your amazing work, for creating the library, sharing it with the rest of the community. And well, thank you very much.
Thank you for the invitation.
Okay, hope we can see more of your work in the near future. Of course, the Grasshopper link is almost here, but well, looking forward to seeing what else you can do.
Yeah, I'm also looking forward what you all together do with it.
Okay.
That's it. That's why I'm sharing it. I want to see nice things being done with it. And
Exactly.
yeah.
Okay. Well, see you in the next Rhino User Webinar, and hope to see you here again.
You too.
Ciao.
Thank you.